grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world, try not to bash into the walls too much, try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money. But life, that's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it, that's maybe the most important thing, is to shake off this erroneous notion that life is there and you're just going to live in it, versus embrace it, change it, improve it, make your mark upon it. I think that's very important. And however you learn that, once you learn it, you'll want to change life and make it better, because it's kind of messed up in a lot of ways. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again.
Good morning and welcome to our 186th weekly webcast. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. And so the way this call works is this is an AMA. I mean, you can ask me anything. You can ask me business questions. You can ask me personal questions. You can ask me career questions, anything you want to. Again, the call lasts 2 hours. And for those of you that are joining us for the first time, welcome. Now, I just got over COVID. And so I thought what I would do today is I would talk about just ways to biohack to make you more productive at work, and how to get over this COVID thing as well, using my humble thoughts. Obviously, talk to a doctor first, all that stuff, but I just tested negative, finally. And for those of you out there that are going through COVID, God bless you. My thoughts and prayers are with you as always. All right, so what I want to do is, let me give me one second to tee this up here. Okay, and this will be the last call you ever see me sitting, okay? I promise you. I have more energy when I stand because, as Tony Robbins says, motion creates emotion. So let's talk about 5 different ways to materially increase your energy and your productivity at work using biohacks. So the first one I want to talk about is water. And this one sounds quite simplistic, but it works because we are 60% water. And so what I do is I drink one of these every single day, and I compete with my students as well when I teach live during my Gold and Platinum MBA classes. Co-opetition is good for the heart as well, and it's fun. And you can get this on Amazon, and I'm not affiliated with anybody. I'm not going to make money from any links and stuff. Just do a search on, 4-liter bottles. And on the side here, it tells me how much I've drank over the past, during the day. So right now I'm at 9 a.m., which is just ahead of 8 a.m., which is the time right now, Pacific. And what I did for COVID to get over this was I use these things here that I swear by. They're great. They're called Airborne. Okay, you can get them in lime or you can get them in orange flavor. And it's just vitamin C. And so what I do is during COVID, what I found helped me get rid of it is they're little tablets, right? And each one's got like 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. So I dumped the whole thing into this, and I finished 2 of these every day while I had COVID. Otherwise, I just do 1. So I think this helps a lot. Again, we are 60% water, and I think it helps tremendously. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is coffee. I love coffee so much, and I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. My only vice, so to speak, or my drug of choice, as they call it, is coffee. And people have been putting butter, it sounds crazy, but hear me out. People have been putting butter in their coffee and their tea for hundreds and hundreds of years. And it gives you this incredible ability to focus much, much better and speak much gooder as well. So I'll show you what I do. So it sounds kind of strange, but if you like putting milk in your coffee or tea, it's quite similar to doing putting in butter. So let me change the camera angle and show you here. All right. So what I do is I have this bulletproof butter here that I use from the company called Bulletproof. Great Canadian company represented. I'm Canadian. And you don't have to buy the butter from them. You can just use organic grass-fed butter. And I've been doing this for about 6 years now, and my productivity has been humbly really, really good. Okay, so you put a tablespoon of this in. Then what you do is I use bulletproof coffee, okay, and I order them in bulk on Amazon. And the way this stuff is made is it's made without any preservatives. I'm not sponsored by Bulletproof or anybody, please. It's made without any preservatives and without mold. And a lot of times when you buy coffee, what happens is there's preservatives in it and mold to the extent that it actually gives you a big high and then you crash unless you have another cup. And I only have 1 cup per day. So I use this. Now, what I also put into my, my morning coffee here is MCT oil. And this is kind of like coconut oil as well. Now, if you're going to do what I'm saying, talk to your doctor first, obviously, or your nutritionist. But if you're going to do this, please just put in a tiny, tiny drop at first and then slowly get up to about a teaspoon. And this helps me out tremendously. And when I go to bed, I actually, as I'm about to fall asleep, I actually look forward to getting up so I can have my cup of coffee and teach as well. I love doing what I'm doing. All right, so that's the second of 5 biohacks. Now the third one, and let me just get a bigger angle here. Probably have to stand up for this one. The third one, oh, and by the way, in my coffee, I also put this. Okay, this here is collagen protein. Okay, and because I'm getting older, the older I get, the better I was, and my joints aren't as good as they used to be. Collagen protein can help with my joints. Another thing, speaking of joints, I gotta go there. Is in my shoes, and these are the cheapest Yeezys you can get, but they're really cozy and comfy. In my shoes, I have Dr. Soul's, whatever these things are called. I'm just getting over COVID. You gotta give me a break here. I can't think of all the words properly. Insoles. There we go. And you can buy them for like $10, and you cut around the outside here, and that makes me a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I was a little bit taller. Remember that song? But it actually helps my knees a lot. Okay, let's move on to what I put in my shakes and my vitamins. Okay, so every Sunday, what I've been doing for decades now is I've been juicing. Okay, and every Sunday I create 7 of these things, and I fill them all the way to the top so that the stuff doesn't go bad. Okay, it doesn't rot. And what's in these things is a lot of organic green vegetables, like kale. Kale's a superfruit. Kale has tons of protein in it. Most people don't realize that. It's really, really good for you. So I put a ton of kale in here, okay, in my juicer. What I also put in here is broccoli, right? It's good juice, right? It's good for you. Doesn't taste that great, but whatever. I put pomegranate juice and any other antioxidant I can possibly think of. I put raw ginger root as well, and I blend it up in here. I put cucumbers, celery sometimes as well. And in terms of the rest of the liquids in here, I'll put in, and again, I make 7 of these, and this is my first meal of the day along with my coffee. I put also Super EFA liquid, okay, which is good for your heart. You get all this stuff on Amazon. What I also put in this is I put in aloe vera juice, organic, with no sugar added. And all this stuff I'm showing you is an antioxidant or something that can help you not get sick in the future, or cancer, etc. Speaking of cancer, especially if you're a guy, you need to eat golden flax seeds as well. Okay, and I put this as well, a tablespoon, in my drink, which I have, again, every 7 days. Other things I put in here are 2 scoops of organic protein powder. Okay, it's different from the collagen one I showed you a second ago. Okay, and I try to have at least 1 gram of protein per pound that I weigh, 170 grams per day. Then I put in organic acai powder, which a lot of extreme sports people love to use. I'm not into extreme sports. They say those who can't do teach, and those who can't teach gym class. And I suck at sports, so you guys are all out of luck here, sorry. But I put in this. This is great. I also put in here coconut water, okay? And this helps a lot as well. If you're at the gym, drinking coconut water can give you a ton more energy as well. I also put cinnamon in this as well. And then after I blend everything together, then what I do is I put lemons in as well. But after I blend everything together in my Breville juicer, I take a handful of blueberries and I throw it in. So it's kind of like boba tea. It's really good. I like it. All right. So that there is the shakes. Now, in terms of the vitamins, and again, talk to your nutritionist first before you do what I'm telling you to do. But I believe that we're all deficient in certain vitamins. And I think that if you blast your system with 100% of the recommended daily intake of each vitamin, then you might be able to stop sicknesses you will get. And so what I do is I use this product called Daily Advantage. Okay, and I have in these things are just a ton of different vitamins. Omega fish oil, which is kind of like this, but a little bit different. Okay, so I do this. What I also have for my vitamins every day is something that the VP of head of engineering at Google created, a guy named Ray Kurzweil. And Ray Kurzweil does a lot of research on anti-aging or slowing down aging. And the book I'm listening to right now is, Alexa, read my book.
Getting your selection from Audible. Resuming aging backwards.
Brought on by
Alexa,
shortening of the
stop.
muscles.
Alexa,
Most fitness
stop.
equipment is not designed to work through the full
Alexa,
range.
stop. Thank you. By the way, do you know you can whisper to Alexa as well, right? You can do this. Alexa, set an alarm for 8:14 a.m.
Alarm set for 8:14 a.m.
She usually whispers back to me. Okay, anyway, I'm live here. I'm really messing things up. But anyway, this here is from Ray Kurzweil, okay? And in this are resveratrol and a bunch of other products in one of these things. I think one of these every day. And resveratrol is actually in red wine as well, which slows down aging, apparently. Yeah. Now, aside from that, another vitamin I take. Now, about 12 years ago, I had my DNA sequenced. And it's kind of like the movie Minority Report. In Minority Report, you find out, it's a fiction obviously, what crimes you're going to commit. Great movie, Tom Cruise, Steven Spielberg, 2002, watch it, love it. Now, when I got my DNA sequenced, it's kind of like that because it'll tell me what diseases I'm going to get. And there's the alarm going off. Alexa, stop, thank you. But what diseases I'm going to get. And so when I had my DNA sequenced, we found out that there was, I think, about a 60 or 70% probability that I was going to get AMD when I get older, which means my eyesight would deteriorate. And I talked to my mom about that, and my grandfather had it as well. So I went to my doctor, and I said, can you help me out with this? And he checked my eyes. My eyes are fine. But he gave me this relatively benign zinc substance that I take. Again, talk to your doctor as well. You can order this on Amazon. All right. Aside from that, what I do is in my salad, every night for dinner, I have a big salad, tuna salad with avocado and other super fruit. And I put this in. It's called apple cider vinegar. And all this stuff I'm telling you about is to help you fight any diseases you might potentially get. Okay, cool. Let's move on now to the fourth of 5 biohacking tips to make you more productive at work. So what I want to do is I want to talk about eyes and cosmetics as well, especially, Alexa, stop. I want to talk about eyes and cosmetics, especially because when you do these Zoom calls, if you don't get much sleep or you're just getting over COVID like me, you can look really, really tired. I'm going to show you how not to look tired. Right. So the first thing you get is, this is a product here called Men's L'Oreal Expert. It's called Hydra Energetic. And there's caffeine in this. So what you do is you just roll this under your eyes and it'll get rid of bags. Another thing I do to look more awake and sound more awake is I'll have one of these. It's called Vocal Zone, right? And a lot of opera singers use this thing as well. And this will help my voice sound better. It sounded much worse this morning when I got up. 2 more things about the eyes. These are called hydropeptide, polypeptide collagen. And what you do, and I did this morning as well because I didn't get much sleep. I'm just getting over the sickness. But you put they're stickers you put under your eye for 10 minutes. The last thing you can do, which I also did this morning, is like people get Botox. That's not something I'll ever do, but you can use this product called Peter Thomas Roth. And what you do is you put it under your eyes and it gets rid of all bags, right? So I don't have bags under my eyes this morning only because I use this as well. The last thing I'll talk about when it comes to cosmetics before moving on to the 5th and final biohacking tip, that's me buying time. The last thing I'll talk about is makeup, okay? Now, people on television and in the movies, they always have people putting makeup on them. And what it does is it stops the glare from the lights. So let me sit down for a second, and I'll show you how this works. And I had no idea how to do this stuff. I got pedals down here to change camera angles. Here we go. I had no idea how to do this. But if you go to a pharmacy, you ask somebody that works there to match your skin color. And then my wife got me a brush from Sephora. Sephora? Yeah. And what you do is you just do this. And I put it on right before I went live. But it gets rid of any shininess, especially if you're perspiring and you never want to let them see you sweat or perspire when you're in an interview, especially using Zoom. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about before I take your questions, the last biohack to make you more productive, is I want to talk about setting a daily schedule. Now, if you want to get something done, you give it to a busy person, and you always notice that people that are a lot of people that are successful at work that you work with, they're in great shape. They have a great social life. Also, they do well at work and all that good stuff. And you're like, I don't get it. How? Well, they stay busy. And so what you have to do is you have to stay busy by scheduling each day the day before. And this is for my MBA degree program students. For more details on how to get this and join my MBA program, go to harounmba.com. But what you can do is I have a smaller version of this that you can schedule every day with. And to get it, you go to this website, all lowercase, harounmba.com/schedule, all lowercase schedule. And you can download a smaller version of this. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is whistling while you work, or exercising while you work, so to speak. So let me just get to a bigger screen here, and I'll show you what I do. So as I mentioned earlier, this is the last time you'll ever see a chair in my office unless I get COVID again, which I hopefully won't. And I'll give you just a quick tour of my office here. This is just the outdoors here. I have a separate building attached to my house for this office. What I do is I have this table here that goes up and down, okay? And you can get these on Amazon. There's tons of great ones you can get. My first one was from a company called Fully.com. That's FULY.com. And then what I do is I exercise here. Oh, there's one more thing I got to show you. I'll show you this in a second. Then you'll really know I'm crazy, but this works. I don't care if you think I'm crazy. I just want to humbly help. So I have this treadmill underneath my desk, okay? And what I do is it goes up to 6 kilometers per hour. And my pedals were blocking the sensor. It goes up to 6 kilometers per hour. And when I don't have COVID, I get 20,000 steps in this office every single day while I work. Okay, so I'll go up to the max speed. I'll show you here. And I raise the desk up a little bit more for my posture so I can type, right? So this is the max speed right here. Okay, so I'm going 6 miles an hour. Okay, there we go. And after a while, you don't realize that you're walking, right? It's amazing. It's great. And I do it during meetings sometimes as well when I'm on these marathon Zoom sessions. And I find that if you do that, I'm going to sit down now because I am still getting over this COVID thing. But if you do that, what happens is you feel like you just woke up in terms of how fresh your mind is. And so, like when I was younger and I used to study in school, what I would do is I would get up an hour early. And that 1 hour of studying in the morning was the same as like 10 hours at night. And it's because your brain feels refreshed. And if you treat this right during the day, meaning you walk while you work, then you feel like you just woke up all day long. So 1 hour of work is worth 10 hours every single day. If you work 10 hours, you're getting like 100 hours worth of work done in every single day. It works, I promise you. I've taken over 2 million steps in this thing in the past 2 years. That's 20,000 steps per day. Alexa, what's 20,000 times 365 times 2?
20,000 times 365 times 2 is 14.6 million.
Yeah, about 15 million. 14 and 15 million, sorry. Okay. The older I get, the better I was. Okay. Now, last thing I want to show you is how to get much better sleep. Now, what I've been doing for the past couple of months or so, or whatever it is I've been using these before I go to bed. And this sounds really out there, but I promise you it works. And give me 1 second to hit the right pedal there with my feet. Okay, good. All right, so what happens is if you use your iPhone or your iPad or your Android handset before you go to bed, it lets in, I did a ton of research on this. It lets in a lot of blue light. And what blue light does to your eyes is it basically stops you from getting the right amount of deep sleep. And what I do is I actually monitor my sleep using this ring here. I am a nerd, but I'm an early adopter. I'm part of the whole QS movement or quantified self movement. And this ring is called an Oura ring, O-U-R-A. And what I can do is I can track my sleep quality. And when you sleep, you get REM sleep and you also get deep sleep. REM sleep is when you have great dreams. I have awesome dreams every night. But my deep sleep sucks. And this is important because deep sleep is when your body works on repairing the muscles in your body or repairing your mind or, I don't know, helping you to age slower and that stuff. And so for years, I would watch my iPad before I went to bed. But I discovered that I'm getting a lot of blue light into my eyes. And so what I'm going to show you right now will stop the blue light from getting in. And it looks ridiculous, but I promise you this works exceptionally well. And I monitor and I'm getting much better deep sleep now. So there's a product, and this is pretty cheap. It's called LiveHo, L-I-V-H-O, L-I-V-H-O. And you can get these for $15 on Amazon. And it comes with 2 pairs of glasses in them. And it's got here, and these glasses they're just basic glasses, right? I look like a nerd now. Now I look like a professor, finally, and a nerd. All right, but it comes with this little card, and I'm going to show you this quick little experiment thing. This here is a blue light, okay? It's blue. So right here, what I'm going to do, is I'm going to shine a light right here, and you'll see it. This is going to turn blue, okay? So give me 1 second. Okay, great. So there, it's blue or purplish right now. And in a second, this is going to disappear from here. And we're going to do the same experiment again with these glasses in front of this card. Okay, and blue light stops you from having deep sleep. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I've tested this thoroughly and it works exceptionally well. So I'll come back to this in a second here. Yeah, put this over here for now. All right. Another thing I do, and this is out there, and these are my Bono glasses. Bono from YouTube, but I'm dating myself there. But these here, these are special glasses you can get them on Amazon. And what they do is I put them on sometimes before I have a big meeting the next day in the morning before I go to bed. So I'll wear these for like the last half hour of the day or so, while I'm in the kitchen, whatever, preparing for the next day. And when you wear these for just half an hour, it's ridiculous. But what it does is it actually makes you very, very tired as well. And it blocks out more than just the blue light. All right, now let's come back here and let me show you the same experiment again. Okay, notice how the blue is gone from here. So I'm going to do the exact same experiment again with this in front. So let me see if I can line this up perfectly like this. Here we go, good. All right. So I'm going to shine the blue light again on this. Yeah, there's no purple left here. And we'll see if it shows up. Okay, so I'm shining it. And lo and behold, nothing, which shows it blocks the blue light. So again, this product here, I recommend everybody try it that doesn't get a good night's sleep or you're not getting enough deep sleep. It's called LiveHo, L-I-V-H-O is the name of the product. Again, you can get 2 of these for $15. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I just want to humbly help you and entertain you at the same time. Laugh at me, not with me always. All right, thank you. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. So again, this is the last time I'm ever going to be sitting down in a call unless I get COVID again. I have some of my bulletproof coffee so I can think and speak good. All right. All right, so first up here, I have got, let me go to the top here, Michael Young. Hey, Michael, how are you? Michael wrote, how are you? Michael here from Indonesia. Good to see you again. Great to see you. I have a lot of students from Indonesia in my MBA program as well. So Michael wrote, I just got a job as an iOS programmer, congratulations, at an insurance company. And I'm thinking of going to an MBA school in the next 1 or 2 years after I've gained work experience. What do I need to prepare if I want to apply to an MBA program? Yeah. So obviously, I'm biased there. I don't think that you learn skills you can put to work right away in the real world when you go to a traditional business school. Plus, traditional business school costs you $100,000, and they don't teach you the most important skills in business, like how to sell, how to network, how to get a job, how to interview, how to manage your own money. They teach you how to manage other people's money. They also don't teach you how to present and much, much more. They also don't teach you, next generation social media tools. that you can use to take your career to the next level. I teach you that as well as programming in my course. With my silver MBA, which is $4.99, you can subscribe today to at harounmba.com. That price is the same price as 1 hour at a traditional school. But since you asked, I'll explain how to get into a traditional school. And before I go there, I have to humbly brag about one of my students, not myself. I have a student in my MBA program this year, my Platinum program, who just got a job in New York City at Goldman Sachs working in investment banking at the associate level, meaning that's post-MBA level. And so in his class, his start class, and he's starting right now, include people from Harvard Business School, etc. But if you want to apply and get into a business school and spend 2 years of your life away from making money, what I recommend doing is going to Amazon and buying a book called Marketing Yourself to the Top Business Schools. And it's written by Carpenter and Carpenter. Okay, and it'll tell you exactly how to write your essays. You need to get at least 4 years of work experience as well. And in terms of what to write on your essays, that book I mentioned will help you a lot. Yeah. Okay. All right, and we have plenty of people actually in my MBA program that have MBAs from top 10 schools, and they all say that they learn more in my program in 1 month than they do their entire 2-year MBA degree program. More stuff they can apply. Yeah. All right. And then you wrote here, do you think 1 year work experience is enough to get into a business school? No, you need 4 years to get into traditional ones. With mine, you don't need any work experience or even a high school degree. I'm trying to make education accessible to everybody and affordable. All right. All right, cool. All right, next question, and it's great to see you on the call. Thank you. Next question, I've got Caroline, who's from Canada. She's originally from France. She lives in Canada, and she's in the process of selling her crepe company. And so she comes on, and she's doing silver now. So I see her every single Thursday at 10 a.m. for a 1 hour Zoom call using for silver students. And if you're a silver student, what you can do in my MBA program is go to the first lecture and get the Zoom link. Again, that Zoom call is every Thursday after this call at 10 a.m. Good to see you, Caroline. So Caroline wrote, hi, Chris. Hope you're doing well. Looking forward to the silver meeting. Excellent. Thank you. Likewise. And I feel much better than I sound today. I promise you. Yeah. All right. Let's see if these pedals work here. Change the angle a bit. Change it up a bit. Okay. Pearl, who's also my MBA program, wrote, hi, Chris. Happy to join in. Hope you are well. Likewise. I hope you're doing well as well. Yeah. And 60% of Americans have had COVID now, and I'm part of that 60%. Took me about 2 weeks to get over it, and the only way I got over it, finally stopped, I stopped feeling worse, was putting in, as I mentioned earlier, one of these things into here and drinking 2 of these per day. Lots of vitamin C, or vitamin C as they say in England too. All right, and then Pearl wrote, congratulations on your 186 webcast. It's crazy, eh? Unbelievable. And we barely missed any weeks. I missed one 2 weeks ago, I apologize, because of COVID. Yeah, and I almost made it last second, but yeah. All right, let me just turn off the air conditioner here now as well. Okay. All right. Next up, Manas, who's from India. Good to see you, Manas. Manas wrote, good morning, my dear mentor. Call me Chris, please. Hope all is well. Likewise. I have a lot to ask today. How are you doing? And finally, you're on the chair, so it's good to see you. Yeah, and this is the last time you'll see me on a chair. I promise you. What I will do is I'll stand up. And the reason why I don't sit on a chair is because a couple of years ago, I had more than one complaint that I sounded tired when I was doing these weekly webcasts. More than one complaint. And 2 data points make a trend. And so I gutted this chair. I got rid of it, but I'm sitting on it now just because I'm just getting over COVID here, yeah. But I did just test negative. Thank you. All right. Nobody else in my family got it. Okay. And then next up we have Nightmare Slasher. Wrote, hey, Chris, I've enrolled in your presentation course, and it's great so far. Thank you. Does the rules of the presentation are the same as interviews? They're a little bit different. The only part where there's a bit of overlap is in that course where I teach you how to do live Q&A when you're giving a speech. Yeah. And when you read back the question, that gives you time to think, which is a trick that teachers use. Yeah. Okay. But in my MBA program, I go into that in a lot more detail. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have Samir, who wrote, hi, Chris. I try to follow your advice to buy an iSavings bond from Treasury Direct, but I haven't been able to get approval. Are they buying tips instead? Or you wrote here, Are buying tips or treasury inflation protected securities a better alternative? What are the pros and cons? Yeah, I would just stick with the I savings bond because it does have a higher yield. Okay, so for those of you that are interested, you could spend $10,000 max and get 9.62% yield guaranteed. And you can go to treasurydirect.gov for more details. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, Yukta, and if you're having problems buying it, just call somebody on that website there, treasurydirect.gov, and they'll walk you through how to do it. You're buying directly from the United States government. I think you have to be a U.S. resident or green card holder at least to be able to buy them. In whatever country people are in, you can do a search on what is the I savings bond equivalent in my country, and then do lots of research to make sure that the credit rating is at least A or double A, and understand what the most you can make and lose. All right. Next up, Yukta wrote, "Hi, Chris. Hope you're doing great. Likewise, thank you. So being a teenager, oh, cool. How do you determine a career path to take? Yeah, it's hard when you're younger. You know, most people don't realize their passion in life when they're a teenager. It takes a while. And so what I do is in my MBA degree program, I think of myself like a waiter, hopefully a good waiter with good food. And when you go to a restaurant, this is where I proposed to my wife, Christine, in Paris. She said yes. But when you go to a restaurant, you can look at the entire menu, but you only order one or two things. Now, in my MBA degree program, which you can take as well, go to harounmba.com. I expose you to all different types of careers so that you can decide what career makes most sense for you. And the way you know that you've found what you're meant to be doing in life career-wise, the way you know is if I tell you, you can't travel for the next month and you can't go to school and you can't work, what would you do with your time? And no matter what anybody tells you, that is your career passion and that is something you should pursue. Because if you do something you love doing, you'll be amazing at it. And if you chase money, you lose your dreams and your money. But if you chase your dreams, as long as you're willing to fail and not give a damn what people think of you, eventually your dreams come true and the money follows accidentally. It always does. And nobody that wants to put their dent in the universe, anybody from Steve Jobs to Oprah Winfrey or Elon Musk, they never did it for the money. They did it because they're passionate about that career and they love doing it. And you got to help people as well. I promise you, if you use that outlook, you'll be much happier in life as well. And don't care what anybody tells you around you in terms of what career you should have. You know, if your mom and dad are telling you to be a lawyer, don't be a lawyer unless you love that stuff. And I can't understand, are you a jerk before you go to law school or do they teach you that at law school? All kidding aside, do what you're most passionate about and don't give a damn what anybody thinks of your career. It's therapeutic. Do it with me. This is an exercise for everybody here. I want you to get a piece of paper and a pen and I want you to write this down. I don't care what people think of X. And then what I want you to do is fill in the blank for X 10 times. I don't care what people think of my career choice. I don't care what people think of the way I look. I don't care what people think when I tell them that I'm a 50-year-old man-child and I still play video games. I'm still playing Red Dead Redemption Part 2. It's awesome. I love it. Yeah, but do that and just don't care what people think of your career choices or other choices in life. And I'm not saying be rude or disingenuous, but the earlier you realize that you shouldn't care what people think of you, the more successful you'll be. Because if you care what people think of you, and I cared deeply too much, I was insecure in my teenage years, my 20s, 30s, 40s. If you care too much, then you'll be living your life to impress others and not yourself. And that's a recipe for disaster. Okay. All right. And what you can also do, and this doesn't just apply to you, but to anybody on the call, what you can also do is you can set up a lot of informational meetings with people that work in different sectors and just ask them, you know, what's it like to work in your career? And, you know, grab a coffee with them or a Zoom call or lunch, whatever. And if it sounds interesting, then you can even ask them if you can shadow them or come to work one day or do a free internship. And if it feels like work when you're doing that internship or when you're talking to that person about that career, then it's not for you. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, Nightmare Slasher wrote, just do what you love for your career. And you're right about that. That's great advice for Yukta as well. Yeah. Okay, moving on to Mina. Mina, how are you? Mina graduated from my Platinum program a couple of years ago. She's great. She's from Greece originally. She works at Ryanair, a great discount airline carrier based out of Ireland. She's awesome. She knows a lot about programming too. Yeah, and she's a great mentor to my other students as well. So Mina wrote here, "Hey Chris, I hope all is well. Greetings from Sofia, Bulgaria. I'm packed to catch a flight in 3 hours to Athens, Greece. Awesome, safe travels. And thank you so much for mentoring the other students as well. Thank you." Okay, moving on to Mike. Mike wrote, "Hi Chris, FYI, you're a stud/warrior. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, even sick with COVID, you still did 6 hours of teaching the MBA class yesterday, and then a few more hours on the Zoom call last night. Impressive. Thank you." Now, that was fun. That was fun, and I love our new class. So starting on June 1st, a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, I should say, we started an MBA class on Wednesdays. It's Wednesdays for 1 year for Gold and Platinum students. And our next one is going to be starting on Fridays, okay, on September 30th. And if you go to my website, harounmba.com, you can learn more about it. You can set up a conference call with me as well if you want to talk about it in more detail. Anybody interested in taking the program. Thank you. Good to see you. Okay. And Manas wrote, "This is my 104th webcast with you. Thank you. It's been a fun ride. It's so cool to be with you. Thank you for everything. Likewise, thank you for coming as well." And then he wrote, "Hope you liked the article I dedicated to you and Project Magoo and HEV family on LinkedIn." Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. And for those of you that were on the webcast last week, Vital, who's one of my Platinum students, graduated a couple of years ago, we're building the school in Rwanda. And the proceeds from my MBA program are paying for that and many other scholarships and many other schools around the world. And he actually joined the webcast live last week to show us people working. And they were working at 11 p.m. at night, having fun. It takes a village. And they were pouring cement. And the building is now half done. They've worked a lot in the past week. It looks amazing. I could show you more pictures if you want to see it as well. Thank you. Okay. Next up, we got Tyler. Hey, Tyler. Tyler wrote, "Hi, Chris. I have an inflation question." Sure. Once inflation becomes out of control, is raising interest rates the only solution, or are there other methods? Now, I mean, the best way to cool down an economy is always to raise interest rates. You know, other ways to cool down an economy would be to raise taxes, yeah, which would be catastrophic. But they could do it that way if they wanted to, or they could spend less on infrastructure projects. Governments, that means they could issue fewer bonds to do that. But we're in a tough situation right now. And just this morning, when I was getting ready for this call, I was listening to the Wall Street Journal on ALEXA, and they were saying that the European Central Bank is now going to be raising rates by at least 50 basis points this summer. And every morning when I get ready to come to work here, meaning just walk across my lawn, the way I get ready is I listen to the Wall Street Journal, and you can do this for free. So here's what you do. I do this while I'm brushing my teeth. Alexa, what's the Wall Street Journal news today?
From the Wall Street Journal.
NetSuite is the #1
Alexa,
cloud financial system, used by over 28,000 growing businesses. Head to netsuite.com/minute for a
Alexa,
special...
stop, please. Okay. I got up because I didn't want to yell. Yeah. Okay. If your kids are rude to ALEXA, are you supposed to tell them not to be rude, or is it a computer? So it's cool. I don't know. All right. But the best thing you can do, Tyler, is when it comes to inflation, is buy treasuries. At least in the United States, if you're here, go to treasurydirect.gov. You get 9.62% guaranteed. Guaranteed. And if there's deflation, you don't lose money on that either. It's a great deal. It's a great deal. You got to hold that security, though, for at least a year, or you pay penalties. Yeah. And that's your way of loaning money to the U.S. government. And when you loan money to the U.S. government by buying bonds, you're giving the government money and they're giving you a bond. They take that money out of circulation. So if there are fewer anything out there in circulation, then the price goes up, the price of money goes up. So if the Sony Corporation were to make more PS5s, then the price would go down. Same thing with money. When there's less money out there, then the price of money goes up, meaning interest rates, yeah. All right. Okay. Next up, Manas wrote, how's your COVID now? My mentor, Chris, please. If you drink coffee at 3 p.m., half the caffeine stays in the blood until 12 hours. So it's damn addictive and strong. I agree with you. I don't take a sip of this thing after noon. Yeah. And so I have this. There's this much in here. And I have it between 8 a.m. during these calls up until noon. Yeah. And I love it. It's so good. Yeah. I love coffee. Okay. All right. Next up, Pulashi, great to see you. First time I've seen you on the call. Hope you join us again. Wrote, hello, sir. Call me Chris, please. I'm from Sri Lanka. Awesome. How do you survive financially with inflation? Yeah. So when inflation goes up a lot, what happens is governments raise interest rates. And this really hurts speculative stocks. And so what I recommend doing in an inflationary environment is buying more defensive stocks. Stocks in products of companies where people are still going to buy those products even during a recession. Recession-proof stocks like Campbell's Soup, ticker CPB, and others that have high dividend yields. And what you can also do is you can do a search on Warren Buffett's portfolio to see what he owns. Then you can do more research on the companies he owns. And in my MBA program, I provide you with all the tools to do investment research on every asset class. And the types of stocks that Warren Buffett usually buys, they're quite cheap and they are recession proof. Like people are still going to drink Coca-Cola in a recession. Yeah. Okay. Next up, and sometimes gold does well as well. Gold can be a flight to quality. It can be. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Pearl wrote, what are your views on Sheryl Sandberg leaving Meta? I'm excited to hear your words. No, thank you so much. She's been an incredible inspiration for so many people. She wrote that great book called Lean In as well. So she was the COO of Facebook for about 14 years, and she only planned to stay a couple years at first. She's been through a lot, and I do feel bad for her. Her husband passed away suddenly a couple years ago, and so she's been through a lot personally. I think she's done a great job as well. And I think for personal reasons, she wants to step aside as well. Yeah. But I am a fan of Sheryl. Yeah. Okay. But she was not like really a founder of the company. And when founders leave a company, that's what gets me worried, man. Like if Zuckerberg were to resign from Facebook, then it would be a terminal short. Yeah. Just like how, got to be careful here, but just like how Jeff Bezos is no longer the CEO of Amazon, he's loosely involved, but that's a negative for the company longer term. When a founder leaves a company, what happens is bureaucracy sets in and innovation dies. It does in almost every case, unless the founder comes back to rescue the company later. And when a tech company starts becoming a little bit less relevant, like Research in Motion did years ago and Yahoo did years ago, then there's no turning back, right? It's game over. It's game over because usually in most situations, turnarounds don't work in tech. Now, when a founder leaves a company, what happens, as I mentioned earlier, is innovation dies. And the reason it dies is because if you're a senior executive at a company and you're not the founder, you're judged on a short-term basis. And if you take a big risk and create a new product line and it fails, you're done and you're no longer climbing that corporate ladder. And that's what happens when the founder leaves, because the founder, she or he doesn't give a damn what people think of their short-term outlook. They're very long-term focused. Founders have the blessing of the board as well. The board loves them because they're very, very long-term focused. In fact, Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, and Steve Jobs never really got onto earnings calls. They didn't give a damn because they were long-term focused. If you're short-term focused and you're not a founder and you're running a company, you're basically a slave to what Wall Street thinks of you on a quarterly basis. So the bottom line is when a founder leaves a tech company or all the founders and they're no longer involved at all, don't buy the stock. And there's one exception per decade usually for that. Yeah. Okay, Rose, good morning. Rose, how are you? Rose graduated from my MBA program a couple of years ago. She was in my first class. She's from the great state of Virginia. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. Next up, we have Manas, who wrote, Thailand made marijuana legal for consumption and still illegal in public. but it's legal in restaurants. Oh, interesting. And food. What do you think about it? Yeah. So my thoughts on it's controversial, but I'm not a believer that drugs should be legal. I think marijuana should be legal for medicinal purposes only. But I'm not a fan. I don't think it should be legal. Yeah. And the reason that I hate it, I've tried before, is because it takes away my motivation. And that's really destructive for an economy if it's, especially for younger generation, getting hooked on that stuff. And that can lead to more severe other drugs too. So not a fan. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, Rose wrote, how does your sight deteriorate with that condition? Yeah. So earlier on the call, I mentioned I have my DNA told me that I have a high probability of getting AMD, which is age-related macular degeneration, which means my eyesight will go down. And so I don't want to go blind in my 60s. So what I'm doing is I've been taking this for about a decade now. Okay. It's just zinc. That's all it is. It's called Lipotriad Visionary. Talk to your doctor first, please. Yeah. But I get these from Amazon. Yeah. So you wrote, how does your sight deteriorate with that condition? Slowly over time, apparently. It hasn't deteriorated yet. Yeah. And then you wrote, is it like your vision gets blurred and blurrier and couldn't be fixed with glasses or LASIK? Or is it like a progressive blindness? I think it's more of a progressive blindness. Yeah. Yeah. But if you take the right vitamins, like I try to do every day, and consume the right food, etc., drink plenty of water, get exercise, rest, and all that stuff, then the chances of getting any illness go down materially. Yeah. Okay. Except COVID. Anybody can catch it. Yeah. All right. Next up, Noel wrote, hi, Chris. Hey. How can I find people to work on my idea? Because it's tremendously difficult to do so. Yeah. Let me know what the idea is, and I can help you. You know, what you can do to network, to meet people in any industry for free, is you can go to meetup.com. So meetup.com. And you can go to meetings anywhere in the world, virtually or in person, covering any topic at all. So if you want to find a Python programmer and you live in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, you just go to meetup.com, type in Riyadh and Python, and you can go to these meetings and meet people. Yeah. And it's free. Okay, and it's a great way to network. Next up, we have Ali from my MBA program from last year, I think. Good to see you. How are you, buddy? Okay, Myron, how are you? So Myron is from Kenya originally. She graduated from my MBA program last year. She lives right now in the United Kingdom. And the next school we're building after we're done with Rwanda next year is we're going to build one in honor of her wonderful mother, Leah, in Kenya. Yeah, so it's great to see you, Myron. Great to see you. So Myron wrote, hope you and yours are well. Thank you, likewise. I hope your dad, Samson, his name is, I think, is doing well as well. Yeah, it's a biblical name. Great name. Then you wrote, is there a possibility of a Zoom call after the YouTube questions? Yeah. So if you want to do a Zoom, what we can do, if there's time, like if there's no more questions, I'll do it. But if not, because you're a platinum student that graduated last year, join the weekly webcast at 11:20 a.m. And then we'll do Zoom for a couple hours then. Yeah. Okay. If I get through all the questions here, I'll do it on this call as well. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. Next up we have, and then you write, I hope you get better. Thank you. Yeah, I'm getting there. Ali wrote, hey, Chris. Hey, I've been watching Modern Family with Phil Dunphy. Always reminds me of you, LOL. Dude, I get that a lot. I am Phil Dunphy. My kids are like, oh my God, Dad, don't embarrass me in front of my friends, sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah, and I was teasing my son Matthew, who's a teenager. He's got his driver's license, or will have it in a day or so. He was watching TV with his buddies, and I said, hey, I have these Baby Einstein CDs. Do you guys want to watch these now? DVDs, Baby Einstein? Because I know you used to like that. And he was like, Dad, please. Yeah. But I am Phil Dunphy. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Manas wrote, my nose is bigger than yours. Jeez. Okay. Yeah. But you know what, dude? Having a big nose is awesome because I can kick anybody's ass in skiing because it's very aerodynamic. Okay? The same thing with cycling. Like Greg LeMond, that guy, he's got ball, but forget it. I could kick his ass, man, with this thing. Yeah. Yeah. It's an awful joke. All right. You wrote, how do you correct it before a camera? How do you fix it? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go there. All right. So what you do is this. Okay, you can see it's a bit shiny now. You go like this, and then it's a little bit less shiny, a little bit less noticeable. And you do this just because of the lights, that sort of thing. And I went to the doctor actually, and you guys know I've been sick, and I told the doctor, I said, it hurts everywhere. And and this is serious actually. I'll get serious for a change. The doctor said to me, he's like, what do you mean, Chris? And I said, well, when I touch here, it hurts. He's like, oh no. And I go, when I touch here, it hurts. And then when I touch here, it hurts. When I touch everywhere, it hurts. And he said, oh, it's because your finger's broken. I had to do that. That was the worst dad humor ever. It's what happens when you have kids. You have dad humor because you can't say bad things anymore. Yeah, and you repeat jokes, which I do, probably because I'm getting older. The older I get, the better I was. Yeah. All right. And then Manas wrote here, the work in Rwanda is amazing. Thank you. And Vital's doing a great job. And if anybody wants to donate, you can go to, I think, projectmagoo.org. And I think we have the donate button up there. If not, I'll throw it up again later. And then you wrote, it's amazing what you're doing in Rwanda, and it's like dope, which I'm assuming you mean is groovy, which you guys are saying this generate. You guys say groovy, right? Okay, cool. And why not make a school in India as well? Sure. Yeah, it's a big country, and you'll get a lot of hands to help you, including mine. What do you think about it? I will do one in India, and I'll do it in your hometown. Okay, I'm committing to that right now. So tell me what your hometown is so I can prepare. But what we're doing is we're actually going to be doing Kenya next year. The year after that, we're doing Nigeria with one of my platinum students that graduated last year named Kemi Tade. She's great. And then the year after that, we'll do India as well. Yes, we'll do it. And I promise you we'll do it in your hometown. So let me know where you're from. Thanks. It'll be great to meet you too. Okay. And we can compare noses. Yeah. But I'll win. Yeah. Moving on to Rose. Rose wrote, I've been using those blue light blocker glasses, the ones I had on before, and I look like a nerd. I look like a nerd professor from the 1960s wearing these things. Yeah. Like JFK or something, but not as cool. You wrote, I've been using those blue light blocking glasses and the blue light blocker setting on my iPhone and PC. I didn't expect a difference, but you were right. My eyes aren't strained anymore, and my sleep improved. It is an unbelievable biohack. I'm so happy to hear that, Rose. Yeah, it's great. It's great. And when you buy them, you actually get two in one package. It's made by Livho, Livhho, as well. Yeah. I look like a nerd from the '60s, but I like it. I like it a lot. All right. And then Manasra, you wrote, you look like a professor from Money Heist. Thank you. As long as I don't look like Helsinki. And then you wrote, you look dope in the glasses. You look like a teenager cool guy in college who grows up to become a CEO. Thank you. And thank you for that prayer emoji. I appreciate it. Yeah. I don't know, might make my nose bigger. Might make it a bit bigger. Yeah. And my Bono glasses, these are cool. My kids are like, WTF when I put these on. That means why the face. But these things, I don't want to wear them too long because you do feel tired after about a half an hour. Yeah. All right, put these over here. All right, give me 1 second here. All right, next up, Ritesh wrote, Chris, I'm coming back here after 2 years. Awesome, welcome back. It's great to have you back. And then you wrote here, I'm so happy to see you again. Thank you. Likewise. And then you wrote, I will come here every week. And then you wrote, get well soon, all in caps. Thank you. I feel great. I'm almost ready to start taking my 20,000 steps a day in the office here. Yeah, almost. Yeah. Okay. And then next up, Manas wrote, Russia is not stopping. And now they're getting more aggressive. And then you wrote, if the Soviet Union reassembles, do you think this is another big threat to the world? Absolutely. And the whole world is basically, Heismaning Putin because of all this. There's been a lot of economic sanctions, which is the right decision. And it's the right message to send. And there's many other reasons that the whole world's doing this. Because if the whole world says, hey, it's okay to take Ukraine back, then does that mean it's okay for China to do the same thing with Taiwan, which would be disastrous? Yeah. But I will say is that the Soviets are... So Putin, what he did was this. He did his thesis in university. He did a geology degree, and his thesis was on how powerful the Soviet Union could be if they controlled the world's resources. So this is part of his big plan. He's been thinking about this for a long, long time. But it is terrifying. Yeah. And God willing, he stops with Ukraine, and that reverses soon. Yeah. The problem is there's pride now on his side, and I don't think he's going to stop. Yeah. So it'll just be another Cold War. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to Adiposi. How are you from my MBA program? You wrote, hello, Chris. Good to see you again. I'm back home from Dubai. And unfortunately, I did not get a chance to try dosa during my stay. Yeah. And dude, it was such a pleasure meeting you last week before you flew when you were in Dubai. And you said a quote that really resonated with me. I'm thinking a lot about it. You said, with pain, you find your purpose. I love that. It reminds me of with frustration comes breakthrough. And if anybody out there is working for a jerk at work, that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Because you're going to look back on that years from now and say, thank you for being a jerk, because you motivated me to either get a better job or start my own company so I can live my life my own terms. Earmuff time coming. Earmuffs. There's nothing worse than spending the rest of your life being someone else's bitch, especially if you work for a jerk. Yeah. But again, I love your quote, with pain comes purpose. And it's so great to see you again. I'm glad you had a great trip to Dubai and you got to see the Burj Khalifa. Yeah. Okay, and you're an architect as well. It must have been a treat for you to go there. Okay, next up we have the Financial Advisors Show. How are you? You graduated, I think, my MBA program a couple of years ago. You wrote, hello, Chris. ARC's expected value for Zoom video communications in 2026 is $1,500 per share. Any thoughts? Yeah, so basically you're saying a sell-side investment bank, it has a target price on Zoom in a couple of years. Yeah, so I think the reason that Zoom, one reason why Zoom would take off big time, and if I were the CEO of Zoom, what I would do, and let me actually show you something here. If I were the CEO of Zoom, I would do anything I could in my power to try to make a metaverse version of Zoom. Because like during COVID, we all got so sick of Zoom, man. You know, it's like, it's depressing. It's from a mental health perspective. The only window to the outside world you have is Zoom, which is two-dimensional. But if eventually you could have like a metaverse version of Zoom, where facial detection works better than it does in video games now. Like when you play a video game on PS5, everything looks perfect except for the faces. Once they nail that, then I think the metaverse can become a reality. And so if Zoom were to say that they're working on a metaverse version of their product, I think you would see PE multiple expansion immediately. And yes, you could get closer to that target price. Yeah, because people will think, oh my God, the best pure play to invest in the metaverse is Zoom. So if I were the CEO of Zoom, I would try to re-architect my product so that we had a metaverse version. And it's going to take a while for this to really take off. I mean, this is an Oculus. They've only sold just over 10 million units, which is nothing compared to the number of internet users out there. But it's going to matter eventually, metaverse. And if you go to mbametaverse.com, you'll see one of my web pages. So it's something that I'm building into my core curriculum as well. I'm doing a lot of case studies on the metaverse as well. Again, go to mbametaverse.com for just a little sneak peek on what it might look like. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, Adiposi, who's an architect, wrote, what do you think about the yellow light and also dark mode setting on most phones? Does it help reduce eye strain? I find it does a lot. And developers love dark mode. So they're the ones that pushed Apple and Android to do this. Yeah, I think it's great. I use dark mode only for everything on here. I find it helps a lot. Helps a lot, yeah. All right. The yellow light helps as well with me on my iPad as well. But these blue blockers are, this is the best solution you have, these things here. Okay. All right. Manas wrote, oil in London jumped up 1.8 pounds a day. How bad can things go if this goes on and on and on? Yeah. The silver lining is that, yes, it's going to be disastrous for the global economy. But it will also force the world to get off of oil faster, which is good for the environment. There's always a silver lining. And there's a famous Saudi executive from Saudi Aramco many years ago who said that the Stone Age did not end because they ran out of stones. And so as painful as this is for everybody, from a petrol pricing perspective, and I filled up my car, I have a medium-sized car yesterday, and I paid $110 for it. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. But this is going to force people to buy more Teslas or more Ford Fusions and just get off of oil, which helps us a lot as well because it hopefully gives a little bit less power to certain Middle Eastern countries. I'm going to stop now. Yeah. Okay. And Russia as well. Yeah. So in the long run, this can be positive. Yeah. Although the loss of life now in Ukraine is ridiculous. Yeah. All right. Next up, Mazni. Mazni wrote, hi, Chris. Mazni from Singapore. First time I see you on the call. Hope you join us again. Welcome. You wrote, I'm loving your program so far. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I'm adding programming as well to the MBA program later this year. You guys are going to love it. I'm going to teach you all types of programming, and I'm going to teach it with lots of props. It's going to be fun as well. Yeah. Sheryl, I'm loving the program so far. Thank you. I need help in reviewing, checking my resume. I intend to switch careers. Would it be possible to ask you? Yeah. So if you're in the silver program, silver MBA program, go to the first lesson in the curriculum, and there's a link there for Zoom. And that Zoom call will start at 10 a.m. today. It's every Thursday at 10 a.m. my time, Pacific time. And what I can do is I can look at your resume, LinkedIn profile, and help you there. If you're in my gold or platinum program, you can join Office Hours today, and we can do Zoom as well for 2 hours between 11:20 a.m. my time. As well as 11:20 a.m. to 1:20 p.m. And you can go to my website, log in, and go to the calendar there, and you'll find it. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have Manas, who wrote, thank you for everything, my mentor. You're most welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm using the Brave browser now, and see you next week and forever and ever, and grateful the HEB family. Kudos to Captain Christina, who's the head of the alumni committee. She's amazing. She's great. She's our fearless leader. Thank you. Great to see you. Yeah. What I use is I use the ExpressVPN product a lot as well on my iPhone and different devices. And when I was in Dubai in the past, and when I was also in Rwanda last summer, I used it, the VPN, so I could use the Major League Baseball app to watch the All-Star game. Yeah. So if you want to get access to television you can't get or streaming services you can't get in your country, you can use ExpressVPN. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, Laura wrote, hey, Chris, about passion advice. Sometimes your passion won't pay your bills. Yeah. What should you do about that? Still follow your passion? I love learning a new language. Should I try to be a translator? Yeah. If you're passionate about that, yeah. Yeah. And the great thing about being a translator is you can meet some high-powered people like presidents, prime ministers, etc., and work with them. It's great for networking as well. But let me know what your passion is, and I'll humbly see if I can help you here talk about how to turn that into a business so it can pay the bills as well. Okay. Next up, Madhav said, hello, sir. Chris, please, how are you? I'm always great, thanks, and I hope you're doing well. Okay, moving on to Steph. Steph wrote here, I'm worried a bit about this lady leaving Meta. You mean Sheryl Sandberg? Yeah, she was the chief operating officer. Yeah. I own their stock. Meta does not have the best reputation, but I like that they are front runners on the metaverse. Yeah, no, I hear you. And it was brilliant for Facebook to rebrand themselves as Meta because it de-emphasized the word Facebook, which has become a bad word and politically incorrect for obvious reasons over the past couple of years. And it also sets them up to be the forerunners in the next platform that matters. And the best investments are usually platforms. If you own the road, meaning the platform, then you can charge the cars, the toll booths, etc. And that's the crux of Facebook's business model, and it has been since day one. Yeah, I'd be much more worried though if Zuck left. Okay, I've never sold stock in a company because the COO has left. Yeah, unless they were the sole founder of the company. Yeah. Okay. And then next up, Kush wrote, hey, Chris, how are you? I'm doing great. Hope you're well as well. And then you wrote, can you put some light on so what uses during or before an interview? Yeah. And I think you're referring to what I mentioned in my MBA program with every answer you give in a presentation or every answer you give when you're being interviewed, you use the so what test, which is a great song by Miles Davis, God bless him. So you always ask yourself those two words, so what, before you answer any question, right? What's the bottom line? Keep it short. And I provide you with a lot of different frameworks as well in my MBA program to answer any type of interview question using frameworks like the SWOT analysis, etc. Yeah. But when it comes to the so what test with interviews, just understand that everybody in business is motivated by one of three things. Number one, they want to make more money. Number two, they want to get promoted faster. And number three, they want to enjoy what they do. So from a so what perspective, if you can help the person you're interviewing with take their career to the next level, then that can help you out tremendously. And in my MBA degree program in the personal growth track in the first semester, I provide you with 11 templates that you can create to bring to interviews to add value to the interviewer as well, or the informational meeting person you're meeting with. Yeah. Every battle is won before it's been fought. Okay, next up we have Heathen Nations Music. Great to see you. Everybody deserves a second chance. It's been about 2 years since I've seen you. You know what I mean by that, and lots of love for you. You wrote, hi Chris, if you haven't already, can you speak on the topic of stagflation? Thank you. Yeah, so stagflation means, it means basically negative economic growth with rising inflation. And it's terrifying, and it's something that happened back in the early 1980s. Right, we were in a recession then, and interest rates were close to 20% because inflation was close to 20%. But what makes this cycle different from that cycle when we had stagflation is back in the early 1980s, we had 10% unemployment versus today, we only have just under 4% unemployment. So things are not as bad today as they were back then. In terms of will stagflation occur, it all depends, I think, on what happens to the price of oil. I think that will drive everything. You know, if we see a super cycle and the price of oil goes above the $150 barrel record high, if it goes to say $200 or $300, then I think we're done. We're in big trouble. Yeah. But it's all predicated on the price of oil, I think. Yeah. And what Putin does. Yeah. Okay. Next up, but what's different now between today and the early 1980s is we have two massive events that occurred that are keeping inflation in check, so to speak. One of them is the Berlin Wall fell in 1989. This is a piece of the Berlin Wall I got from Checkpoint Charlie in 2019. So when the Berlin Wall fell, what happened was you had a lot of brilliant and cheap Eastern European labor moving west. Okay, and the biggest input into prices and inflation is labor. So that kept prices in check. So globalization helped. The second thing that's different now versus back in the early 80s is we have Amazon Web Services. And it's great from a price discovery perspective online. You can find cheaper prices for stuff if you search. And the reason I mention Amazon Web Services is because Amazon Web Services is the most important platform we've ever seen in computing ever. Okay, and what Amazon Web Services does is it's kind of like an operating system in the cloud. And a lot of people run their entire companies off of Amazon Web Services. And Amazon has cut the pricing point on AWS, Amazon Web Services, more than 100 times since they introduced it back in 2005. Most monopolies don't do that. Like Microsoft didn't cut the pricing point on Windows up until probably 10 years ago or so. Yeah. So it's very deflationary. And so this generation's Berlin Wall teardown event is Amazon Web Services. And that's a good thing because it keeps prices in check and hopefully stops us from seeing stagflation in the economy. Yeah. Okay. All right, next up, Anand wrote, hi, Chris, good to see you. Your blend of study with props are awesome. Thank you. I love using props. And whenever anybody is going to give a presentation at work, I recommend using props as well. Board meetings, use a prop, presentation, sales meeting, use a prop, etc. Because when we were younger in school, we don't remember what the teacher said, but we remember the props the teacher used if they used props. And we remember the props our buddies brought in when we were in like the 4th or 5th grade for show and tell as well. It works, and we're much more visual today than we were back then. You know, gone are the days where people can read a 5,000 word Vanity Fair editorial. I'm not a fan of Vanity Fair anymore because they're a little bit too left wing for me. Yeah. Oof. Don't mention politics when you're in interviews either. Yeah. Okay. And what you can do, by the way, with these props is you can buy them on eBay and then sell them back after your presentation is done. So it's like a 5% rental fee to use it, you know. And so in my MBA program, what I'm talking about, and I mentioned last class, was we did a case study on Intel. And this is fascinating. So in 1994, Intel released a chip, a Pentium chip, that had a floating point decimal issue. And what that means is this. It means that if you did really complex calculations, the calculation would be off by 0.0001%, which is terrifying if you work in the biotech industry. And so what Andy Grove did, and I bought this chip here on eBay. What Andy Grove did, who was the CEO, God bless him, passed away recently. He was the CEO of Intel at the time and a co-founder. Was he went on all the television programs, Report on Business, CNBC, etc. And he basically said, my name is Andy Grove. I'm the CEO of Intel. And we make a chip that goes in your computer. There's a problem with the chip, and we want to make you aware of it. This is damage control. And so if you want, we can send you a new chip or give you a full refund. And the unintended positive consequence of this was, at that point in time, nobody knew what was in a computer back in 94. And you have this really honest man who's transparent, and transparency builds trust. And this dude, Andy Grove, was talking about this product. And so all of a sudden you had incredible brand awareness. It was free advertising for him. And everybody knew that inside computers was the Intel chip. And there was this honest guy up there talking about it. And so that's basically, they took an awful situation and made it the best PR campaign of all time. But the bottom line is this. If you get a prop like this for one of your speeches, you can buy it on eBay. It might be expensive, but you can sell it back on eBay. So it costs you like a 5% restocking fee, so to speak. Okay. All right, let me get back over to, not sure which camera's on. All right. A little bit hazy now with the post-COVID stuff. All right, next up, Steph wrote, hi, I registered for your MBA program. Awesome, thank you. But I'm a bit lost. Sure. Can you make a quick resume of when we are meeting? Is it always on YouTube? When are the Zoom calls? Yeah. So I sent an email to everybody before we started the program. And you can always go to the first lesson to see a recap of what I'm about to show you. Okay, so let me show you here, see if this pedal works. Okay, so what you do is you go here, go to harounmba.com, and then you go to MBA student login, and you select your year here, okay? And there's a password that I emailed to you. And if you don't have the password that I'm about to type now, what you can do is email support@harounventures.com, and I'll get it to you right away. Okay, I'm going to enter in the password here, okay? So you enter in the password here. And then right here is where you can access everything, okay? So Slack to be able to communicate with your fellow classmates from a networking perspective, replays of all classes, booking one-on-ones if you're in the Platinum program, as well as other stuff. So if you click here, and if it asks you for the password, use the same password, okay? And right here, you'll see a link to all the classes. So classes are every single Wednesday. And then we have office hours for 2 hours today at 11:20 a.m. Okay. So what you do is, for example, yesterday's class, you click here, and then you click this link here. Okay, and it's up here, and you can watch the replay. So yesterday's class looks like it was 9 hours long. We did a lot of Q&A. It was fun. Talked a bit about Facebook. That was me sitting down as well. And then at the end, we did Zoom with was it 10 people or something? Yeah, like 9 people. Something like that, join Zoom as well. Yeah. And again, if you don't have the password, then just let me know. Just email support@harounventures.com, and thank you. Yeah. And if you're not getting value out of the MBA, you get your money back all the way up until July 1st. 30-day, 100%, no questions asked, money back guarantee. Thank you. Okay. And we'll do Zoom today during office hours at 11:20 a.m. Yeah. Okay. And we do it every class as well. There's demand. All right. Next up, Matthew, who just joined my Platinum MBA. He's from Ontario as well, just like me, from Brantford, where Wayne Gretzky lives. Yeah, or used to live. So Matthew wrote, "Hey Chris, where did you get the raisable desk and under desk treadmill?" And he wrote office goals ! Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah. So I bought this one here. I've got is 8 feet wide. It's a little bit more specialized, but I'll show you here where to get a stand-up desk. So you go to Amazon, okay, and I'll show you also the treadmill I got right here. So I'll go to orders here, and then I will go to search my orders, okay, and then I will get okay. So treadmill, and I bought 2 of these actually. And it's the cheapest treadmill you can find because there's no bars on the side. I think it's about $500 or so. Here it is here, yeah. So it's called Rhythm Fun, and it's great. You can actually put it underneath your couch. See at the bottom there, if you want to get it out of the way, and then you can buy a stand-up desk if you want. Now, for the stand-up, and let me show you one more thing too. You can also get this product for about $40, I think. And then you can put it onto any treadmill at the gym while you watch Toy Story, etc. Yeah. Put your laptop there. Yeah. Now, in terms of the desk, there's a great company called Fully.com, and they make this product called the Jarvis Desk. And you customize it here as well from scratch. And I think it's a great investment. So, for example, say we want this one in white. It's $479. And then you can add more stuff to it as well. You custom make it different colors, all that fun stuff. Again, go to fully.com, Fully.com. Do a search on coupons. Is it 2 L's or 1? 2 L's looks like. But do a search on coupons because you can always get 30% off. Yeah, especially if you search for New York Times coupon on it, which is 30% off. That's how I did it. Yeah. Okay. All right, next up, Anand wrote here, give me a second. Increasing the interest rate would reduce inflation, however, would also reduce demand and lower economic growth. Yes, yeah, and that's the point. You have to do that. And then you wrote here, what is the, how the balance between rates in BPS, meaning basis points, and economic growth is made by policymakers. Yeah, it's hard because it's a double-edged sword. If you raise interest rates, you're going to slow down the economy. But you have to slow down the economy in order to get rid of inflation. Because if you don't get rid of inflation, then you don't have an economy. And things can get out of control. For example, in October of 2008, in Zimbabwe, the daily inflation rate was 98%, the daily inflation rate. And it happened in Venezuela as well with the Venezuelan fuerte, which ironically means strong in Spanish. The fuerte inflation was 1,000,000% one day. Yes, that's right. So they had to actually gut the entire currency. So if you don't manage it properly, then you can have post-World War I Germany type inflation where people literally took wheelbarrows full of cash or Deutschmarks, whatever at the time. And they brought it into the market for a loaf of bread. Yeah. It's tough. But when times are good, the problem with governments around the world is that they're so short-term focused. And when times are good and the economy is doing well, you have to raise interest rates. Because if you don't raise interest rates, then when times are bad, you can't cut rates to help the economy improve. And so I really do believe that in the United States, under the previous administration, there's a lot of bullying going on between the president and the Federal Reserve, to the extent that the Federal Reserve, which is supposed to be an independent body, did not raise rates. And hindsight's 2020, but they should have raised rates. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, I've got Chun, who wrote, "Hi from Malaysia. Good to see you. How are you?" And then Steph wrote, "I missed the biohacks. Can you repertoire them quickly? I was just 8 minutes late." Yeah, no problem. What you can do actually is you can rewind this call to the beginning, and you can watch that part now. And you can even watch it in fast mode, like 2x speed mode if you want to. Yeah. And this call is available on the internet forever. You can always watch replays. Yeah. Thanks. And if you're in my MBA class, you can ask me during class and I'll go through this in much more detail. Okay. Manas wrote, my mentor, I'm from Calcutta. Oh, cool. Calcutta, city of joy, love, and oneness. Excellent. We'll build a school there in your hometown there in Calcutta. Very cool. Awesome. It'd be great to meet you too. Yeah, and a lot of the profits from my MBA program and everything I do goes towards building schools and scholarships and all that stuff. It's my purpose. Okay, moving on to Kamal, who wrote, how can we enjoy working hard? Yeah. Well, first of all, you got to do what you're passionate about doing, or you got to condition yourself to enjoy it, right? It's like the Rodin sculpture, I think, therefore I am. Or as Henry Ford said, whether or not you think you can do it, you're right. You got to condition yourself. Kind of like conditioning yourself not to like eating a Big Mac. And think about it in terms of pain and pleasure, which Tony Robbins talks about. For example, if I eat this chocolate cake, I'll get this much pleasure, but in the long run, this much pain, because I'll gain weight, get acne, etc. And you got to just condition yourself to enjoy doing what you're doing. Whistle while you work. So how can you enjoy what you're doing more so? Well, you can exercise while you work, like I showed you, if you have the luxury of being able to use a treadmill at work. You can also spoil yourself with nice coffee when you go into work, which is what I used to do. I used to go to Blue Bottle to get good coffee here in the Bay Area. You can also get one of those nice Bose headsets or any earphones, whatever, and listen to classical music while you work. And it's not distracting listening to classical music. You set the soundtrack for your own life. And I used to do that a lot when I worked on trading floors. I would actually have my Bose headset on, listening to classical music, and listen to anything made by Hans Zimmer. And if anybody in the call here is from Germany, thank you so much for Hans Zimmer. Yeah. Because imagine watching a movie without music, without soundtrack. It'd be dull. Well, if you work while you listen to motion picture soundtracks, like the motion picture soundtrack for Blade Runner or Interstellar or Inception, then you'll get into this cerebral zone, so to speak, where you're enjoying work much more. Okay. Next up, Mosny wrote, thank you for answering. You're most welcome. I'm in the MBA Silver program. I'll connect with you through Zoom soon at 10 a.m. today with respect to resume checking. Thanks again. You're most welcome. I'm looking forward to humbly helping you. Yeah. I'll see you at 10 a.m. today. Yeah. Okay. And give me 1 second here, guys. All right. Okay. And Kush wrote, I appreciate your answer. Thank you. And if anybody has follow-up questions based on my answers, please, by all means, ask. I'm here to humbly help any way I can. So Kush wrote, do some event in India, specifically in my town. I'll show you my town and you will love our food. Yeah, I love Indian food. And for anybody out there that goes to Indian restaurants, if all you order is chicken tandoori, which is awesome, and naan bread and all that great stuff, you're doing it wrong. Please order dosa. It's the best food you'll ever eat. The best dosa I ever had was at the airport. This is embarrassing. At Punjabi Grill when I was in Mumbai and Delhi. I was there teaching. Yeah. Order dosa. If it's not on the menu, ask them. Can I order dosa anyway? It's like when you first eat a Krispy Kreme donut out of the oven. That's how good dosa is. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we got Nell. Hey, Nell, or Neil, pardon me, sorry. Neil wrote, I'm watching Chris after a very long time, and I'm so happy to see him. Thank you. You're so happy to see him do the 186th episode with the same energy and passion, if not more, since I watched the 26th episode. No, thank you. Thank you. And it's a testament to having incredible students that inspire me so much from all over the world. You all complete me. I love you guys so much. And when I get up every morning, before I get out of bed, I practice gratitude. And I always thank God for these 10 things in this order. Andrew, Matthew, Dylan, those are my 3 kids. Christine, my wife, my mom, my dad. And if my mom and dad are watching, I reverse that. I'll say dad and mom sometimes. Okay. And my brother, Jamie, my sisters, Katie and Elizabeth, and you, my students. Thank you. And if you practice gratitude before you get out of bed every single day, then you'll get out of bed in a peak mental state and you'll appreciate what you have. instead of focusing on being depressed because you don't have something. Yeah. Yeah. My richness consists in the fewness of my wants. Yeah. And as Oprah Winfrey said, you can have it all, but you can't have it all at once. Great to see you, Neil. Okay, next up, Ted wrote, your hair is so dope, Chris. Thank you. It's a bit longer. I'm actually going to get my hair cut this Saturday. I thought I'd try something a little bit different. It's tough though, man. It's kind of curly, right? It's a little tricky. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we've got Lura, who wrote, I started studying finance because being an investment banker will earn you money, and started learning Japanese in my free time. I plan on mastering Korean as well. Should I try making a language my career? Yeah, be careful with investment banking or investment wanking. Sorry, it was awful. A lot of people want to become investment bankers, but they don't know why. You know, a lot of students do. Investment banking, and people say, I want to do it because I want to make a lot of money. But the dirty secret is that you make the same amount of money that your friends do per hour. You just work twice as many hours and you have no life. And your health suffers. And the work is not that fun at a junior level either. You do a lot of photocopying, basic modeling, PowerPoint presentations, putting together proposals, etc. I would use it as a stepping stone only. And before you pursue any career, I would always ask yourself, why do I want this job? Before figuring out how to get this job. And in my MBA program, we do this simple exercise where we create your simple, perfect resume in 10 years. Okay, so we create your 10-year resume today. And then we focus on filling that gap. And I learned that from Jeff Bezos, actually. So Jeff Bezos, what he did at Amazon was he would have his product managers on all major products, including AWS, Kindle, Prime, Whole Foods, etc. He would have them all write a press release today that's going to be released many years in the future. And that's a rudimentary goal-setting workshop, because you then figure out, where am I now and where do I want to be? And it's the same thing with creating your 10-year resume, which is one of the many exercises that we have in the MBA degree program. For those of you in the MBA degree program, we cover that in the personal growth track in the first semester. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then next up, I've got Neil, who wrote here, I had the opportunity to briefly speak to him. I'll keep that as a secret. But the newbies, please understand, you're learning not just from the best, but from somebody who's a true human in terms of conduct. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I try to walk through walls for my students and try to put in, I don't know, 11 out of 10 every single day, so to speak, if that made sense. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. And for me, I realized, like, when I used to work for other people, you know, humbly, I would always do well. But during my annual review, it would always become incredibly uncomfortable for my manager in pretty much every company I worked at, because my manager would say something like this. They would say, Chris, you're doing a great job, all that stuff, whatever. However, can you maybe spend a little bit less time helping mentor people in different departments? And I would always say, I'm so sorry. It's embedded in the DNA subfabric of who I am. I want to help. That's just what I want to do. And Jeff Bezos once said that, you know, customer service and profitability is perfectly correlated in the long run. If you're obsessed with providing the best customer service experience possible and helping your customer, then it's a good career to have. Yeah. Yeah. And with whatever product or service that you're all selling, a little bit off center here, sorry. With whatever product or service you're all selling to your customers, you got to view it as you helping them. You helping them with their career, etc., helping them with their business. And if you use that mindset of, I'm helping people, then it makes it much more fun. And it's not about money. It's about making a difference first and foremost, always. Yeah. And I turned off the autofocus on this camera here because it wasn't focusing properly. So yeah. All right. Thank you for that, Neil. Appreciate it. God bless you. Next up, I've got Noel, who wrote, thanks for these words of help, Chris. You're most welcome. Are there any places where one could do public speaking in order to gain traction for their project? Absolutely. So there's two ways you can do it. One way is, I'll tell you the free way and then the way where you pay for it. The free way is you can actually do Toastmasters. And Toastmasters basically is a group of people that present to each other. And you can probably find free ways to do that by going to meetup.com. Let me show you that really quickly because this is applicable to everybody with respect to networking for anything in general. So let's go there together. Let's go to Meetup. Let me move my coffee out of the way. Meetup.com. Okay. And what you can do is you can search for Toastmasters. And I don't know, whatever city you live in. So I don't know, 90210. Okay. And then right here, you've got Toastmasters events, right? So you can look through this. Sometimes you'll find more than 3 attendees, and you can do it either in person or online, right? And for some reason, it's showing Columbia, Maryland here. But if you search, it works for every city in the world. Yeah. I don't know why it didn't work. Let's try it again here. Yeah. Just enter. It works for every city in the world. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. And that's close to Beverly Hills here. Yeah. So that's how you can practice. Now, the way to pay is what you can do. And this is what I did when I was 19. And what Warren Buffett did when he was 19 is one of the few things we have in common with each other. I took a Dale Carnegie public speaking course, and anybody can do it in person. It's a bit pricey, but it's a better investment than your undergraduate education. That's for sure. And what you do is they teach you how to public speak. They make you speak in front of lots of people, and you feel comfortable as well. So again, do a search on the Dale Carnegie public speaking program. It's available in most cities. Yeah. Okay. And in my MBA program, obviously, I teach you all that stuff and much, much more as well. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Next up, Syed wrote, "Hi, Professor Haroun. Good to see you." You wrote, "We really need your help too." Thank you. No, it's great to see you. Great to see you. You wrote, "I have to sound like a broken record, but this is with regards to the school we're attempting to build in Pakistan." Yeah. Oh, that's right. I remember you now. I gave you a full scholarship to my gold MBA program this year because of this. Yeah, it's awesome. Nice. You wrote, "The project is essential for the women of the village." I love it. I love it. And what you can do, I said, if you want today, is at 11:20 a.m. today, during the gold and platinum MBA office hours, we can do a Zoom and you can present to all of us if you want to and practice with us. And we can all give you our humble thoughts and ideas as well as part of the network to help you take that beautiful project you have to the next level. Yeah. Okay. All right, next up, Ted wrote, "Dosa is off the hook." Dude, it is amazing. I know it's ridiculous. It means I'm getting so hungry just thinking about this. I got to get some breakfast now. But no, dosa, you got to ask for that at Indian restaurants. Trust me, you guys will. It's the best advice I can ever give. Yeah. All right, my antioxidant drink. Next up, we have Kush, who wrote, "I live near Mumbai, and we have tons of dosa. Just visit my place. I'd love to. Thank you." And that trip changed me, man. Like when I visited Mumbai. So Mumbai has like 25 million people, and a lot of wealthy people, but there's 20 million or so people live in the slums. And when I drove from when the driver of the car drove from the airport to the Ritz to my hotel, whatever, we drove through the slums, and it changed me. Because I looked around and I saw so many people in the slums, and again, there's lots of wealthy people there too, but so many people in the slums in Mumbai that were laughing and so happy with nothing. And the only reason you should ever look into your neighbor's bowl is to make sure they have as much as you do, not to see if you have more. And that trip changed me, man. I loved it. And I read this great book by the Dalai Lama called The Art of Happiness. Read it, please, The Art of Happiness. And the Dalai Lama mentions that the problem with Western society is we sacrifice our health our entire lives in order to make money. And then at the end of our lives, we sacrifice all of our money in order to maintain our health. And then we look back and we realized we never really lived to begin with. Yeah. I love India. And 11% of my students are from India. Yeah, it's my second biggest market now after the United States. The United States is about 20%. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Alua wrote, dosa is really awesome. It's the best, man. Yeah, I love it. I love it. And my favorite dosa restaurant, Indian restaurant called Raza, just shut down here in Burlingame where I live. It breaks my heart. I used to get the Bollywood dosa. I would order 4 of them. I'd be stuffed after the first bite. I didn't care. They're so good. And on my 50th birthday, my wife asked me, what do you want to do for your 50th? And I was like, well, first of all, no surprise party, please. But all I wanted to do was I went to Rasa with my boys and Christine, my wife, and we ate dosa. And I ordered 4 of them. It was so good. I loved it. Yeah. Okay. All right, next up, Sayed wrote, I'm just a simple man who comes from humble means, and I've been inspired by yourself and Vital. Awesome, Vital's great, yeah. But I must add that I've always dreamt about opening a school in honor of my father. Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm going to help you too. Yeah. And we'll talk about it today during the gold call if you want to. But I'm going to help you in many ways. Yeah. Thank you. I love it. Okay. And then Sayed wrote, this sounds like a match made in heaven. Also, I say this because of how I met my partner on the project and how it all fell into my lap. You would be the number one advisor we would like on our team. I'd be honored to. Yes, you had me at hello. Yeah. And then you wrote here, give me 1 second. Please tell us what it will take for us to work with you and continue being inspired by you. Yeah, no, thank you. Well, I gave you a full scholarship for the Gold MBA program. And so you can always ask me during our Zoom calls. And again, our Zoom calls today between 11:20 and 1:20 p.m. Yeah. And yeah. And also, you're in the Wednesday session. You can always ask questions and or ask them here as well. But if you want to do Zoom, just do it during the Wednesday class or during the weekly office hours for Gold and Platinum today. Thank you. And you wrote, sorry for the 100 messages. No, please. That's what I'm here for. You wrote, it is not the funding for which we need assistance. I believe I have a great plan for that. It is everything else that we need from you. Don't wish to make any decisions unless experts are consulted. Yeah, as well as the curriculum and the school system. Yeah, and look, we're making a lot of mistakes too, or I'm making a lot of mistakes with what we're doing in Rwanda. At first, the project was so ambitious. We started with 1 building, then we wanted a bunch more buildings, then I bought a lot more of the land, and then we were like, oh my God, we're trying to build the Burj Khalifa in the middle of Rwanda. And so we pared it down, and it's getting done. We're halfway done the building. Yeah, it'll be done this year. Yeah. Okay. All right, next up, Andre wrote, where can I find the business plan doc in the MBA? Andre, good to see. Andre is a pastor who's from Queens originally, I think. And he lives now in Brazil. Great guy. He looks like a younger Antonio Garcia. Do a search on Venture Capital Bootcamp. Okay, so what you can do is this. I'll show you. So for anybody in my MBA program, silver, gold, platinum, whatever, it doesn't matter. You go directly to my website here. Okay, so you go to harounmba.com. And at the top, just do a search on Venture Capital Bootcamp. Venture Capital Bootcamp. Okay, and this is actually in E3-1 through E3-6, right? And these are just YouTube videos. I was interviewed at Stanford a while back, whatever. But you go right here. This is Venture Capital Bootcamp, okay? And so, although this says silver here, what you do is you click here, okay? And you'll know exactly where to go in the curriculum, okay? So, this is Entrepreneurship Class 1 for Semester 3. So, E3-1, Entrepreneurship Semester 3, Class 1. So, go in your curriculum, this is silver here, to access it this way. Yeah, and thank you. Yeah. All right. Next up, Mosny wrote a post in LinkedIn. What is the best topic to write about? Yeah, or anything in general is fine. I'm a working mother of 2, both under 2 years old. Awesome. and I've been posting lots about working mom life. Yeah, so whatever you post about, like I want you to become a thought leader, and this goes to everybody out there. If the way to become a thought leader and get the media to reach out to you for free PR and interviews and stuff is to think like a thought leader. You know, it's like the Rodin sculpture, I think, therefore I am. And so if you post, just be consistent. Like what I did was I posted once a week on LinkedIn an article, just business stuff. And I did it for 2 years. So after 2 years, I had 100 articles. And then what I did was I repurposed all that content into a book called 101 Crucial Lessons they don't teach you in business school. I just repurposed it. And then I repurposed each one of the articles into a vlog. But I would just be consistent. Whatever social media platform you're on, be consistent. So if you're going to vlog once a week at the exact same time. So your customers, your followers know exactly when you're going to post it. Kind of like I do this. This is the 186th week I've done this weekly call. Just be consistent always, yeah. And if you build it, they will come. And don't worry if nobody is watching your videos or liking your LinkedIn post, whatever. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't care. You just got to be consistent. Because at first, I promise you, it's going to feel like you're screaming into the wind. You're like, oh my God, nobody's paying attention. Why am I wasting my time doing this? You're not. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. Just keep at it, because I promise you your competition will give up. Yeah. And YouTube is the only gold rush in history where it costs you nothing to make the product. And YouTube is also the only gold rush in history where you can get access to 1 billion potential customers for free. And I think we're all going to look back upon this era in time and say, God, I wish I made more YouTube content. Because every YouTube video you make is like a little coffee shop. It's a little franchise that pays dividends. And it's fun helping people too. And that's what you got to do first and foremost. You got to think, how can I help people? How can I help people? Always, yeah. Give and you'll receive. It's prophetic. It's been true since the beginning of time. Okay. Next up, Steph wrote, how does the ExpressVPN work for you? It seems slow and interrupts my internet. No, it's fine for me. So I use it on all my devices, right? So I use it on my iPhone here, use it on my desktop. When you buy it, when you subscribe for $6 or $7 per month, you can use it on any device. And you can connect from any region in the world, right? So I do this to test to see how my courses are being marketed in different parts of the world. So when you use it, what happens is if you use it in a country that's really far away, it might take a second or two longer to connect. And then you'll notice if you search for something in Google, you'll have to do one of those stupid CAPTCHA things with, click on the traffic lights. The worst one is hills. I can't see them in the background, or crosswalks. Yeah. But anyway, it works fine for me. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's the best one out there. All right. And next up, Syed wrote, finally, any thoughts on Google versus DuckDuckGo? Has DuckDuckGo also been sold out? Should we try to avoid Google? I trust Google. I don't trust other competing search websites. I know it sounds bizarre for me to say I trust a company, but when Google went public, when Larry and Sergey took it public in 2004, their moniker, their slogan was "Don't be evil." Yeah, and I really do believe that the DNA subfabric of the corporate culture at Google is to do good. Google even pulled out of China in January 2011 because of censorship. So I trust the Google brand. DuckDuckGo, less so. Yeah. And I don't know if it's been sold yet. Okay. H&M, Heaven Nations Music wrote, thank you for that wonderful response on stagflation. You're most welcome. I'm in need of some advice or consulting in terms of my career. I'm working as a temp worker, but I'm not in the right field. Yeah. So if you're in my MBA degree program, silver, gold, or platinum, watch the personal growth track in the first semester to help you learn how to network on steroids, how to leverage LinkedIn, and how to get tons of networking meetings so you can get the job of your dream. Because the problem with applying for a job is when you see a job opening online, if you apply to it, you literally have a 1 in 250 chance of getting that job. You're just a number. And the person that gets that job is the person that knows how to network to meet people at that company. And I teach that in my MBA degree program, and I can help you as well in a small group setting if you want, if you join Silver. Every week at 10 a.m. I do Zoom as well. I can take a look at your resume, LinkedIn profile, or you can sign up for Gold and Platinum. The next class starts on September 30th. And in Platinum, I can do one-on-one calls with you as well. And everything in one-on-one calls obviously is confidential. Yeah. Okay. And then Noel wrote, how do you overcome fear of not explaining my idea because of the fear that the other person might copy your idea? In short, I have a lack of trust, I guess. That's a great question. Yeah. So a lot of entrepreneurs, first-time entrepreneurs, when they go to meetings with investors, they'll say, can you sign this NDA first? And investors find it insulting when you do that because they're doing you a favor, they think at least, of providing you with this meeting. You don't have to tell them the secret sauce. You can just say, generally speaking, what you're trying to do. And if you want, you can hire a patent attorney. Just go to LegalZoom.com. It doesn't cost much to be able to file the patents for you if you're protecting the way something is made, or to file copyright or a trademark, so to speak. And I go into more detail on that if you want me to. Yeah, but you don't have to share the secret sauce. You can just tell them high level what you're doing. Yeah. Okay. And then Kush wrote, how do you handle a job application rejection? I got rejected recently by my dream company of mine. I felt so bad. No, I've been there, man. You only have to be right in business one time, though. Yeah. So what you can do is call the company that interviewed you. Okay. Don't send a message over email. Call them. And when you get them live, just say, thank you very much for the opportunity. Can you please provide me with some feedback on why I didn't get the job? And thank you for your time. And they'll explain it. And, for the next interview, you'll do better. Or you can sign up for my MBA program, and I'll teach you how to interview on steroids. Yeah. Yeah. But I think the best way to get a job is to network and meet lots of people in that company. And when there's an opening, then ask them to help you. And I teach you all the tips and tricks in my MBA program as well. Okay. And I got to wrap this up in a minute, guys. I got to get ready for my 10 a.m. call with Silver students. So Legal State of Mind wrote, the remarkable Hoot Gibson sent me here. Happy to be here. Thanks. It's great to see you. Great to see you. Yeah. And Hoot actually wrote a book, I think, last week he mentioned. Yeah. Very cool. Using my book template. And anybody can write a book. Just go to harounventures.com/ all lowercase write book, all lowercase. And at that, if you go to that website, it's a template it provides you with that's 6 inches by 9 inches. And it teaches you, and it's free to download and all that stuff. I don't even ask for your email and stuff. But it teaches you on the first page of that template how to publish for free on Amazon Print, Amazon Kindle, as well as ACX, which is audible.com. Yeah. And if there are people watching this say, I don't know, man, writing a book's a lot of work. Well, what if I told you that if you did that, you wrote a book and you self-published, which costs you nothing, and you brought that book to informational interviews, that helped you get the job of your dream or the customer of your dream? And if you don't want to write a book, if you think it's too much work, just ask yourself, how badly do you want that job? It works, I promise you. Okay. And then Steph wrote, for my ExpressVPN, I'm in Montreal, Canada. VPN should work well. Yeah, it works for me well, the ExpressVPN I use here. Maybe it's internet connectivity. I'm not sure. Yeah. And I miss Montreal. I lived there for 4 years. When I went to McGill, I had so much fun. Oh. All right. Next up, Kush wrote, thanks, Chris. Have a wonderful day. I appreciate that. You too. And Amasni wrote, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Awesome. Cool. All right, guys. So I'm gonna wrap up today's call. I've got to get ready for the 10 a.m. call with my Silver MBA students. So if you sign up for my Silver MBA, if you go and you sign up at harounmba.com, what you can do is you can go to the first lecture, and I provide you with a Zoom link, and you can join me at 10 a.m. today, and we can do a Zoom call. There's only usually a couple people on it, which is fun, and that will go from 10 to 11. If you're in my Platinum or Gold MBA program, I'll see you today if you want at 11:20 a.m. for 2 hours of Zoom as well. And if you're in my Platinum program, and if I have one-on-ones with you, I'm looking forward to chatting with you today later on as well. I see there's more questions there. I'm so sorry I won't be able to get to them today. If you're an MBA student, ask me during MBA office hours. If not, just copy your questions and ask me next class. All right, guys, take care. God bless you. If this was helpful, like and subscribe, and I'll see you every Thursday at 8 a.m. my time, and I'll be standing next week. And this will be the last time you'll see me in my chair, because I'll be 100% better by then. All right, guys, take care, and thanks again.